the sign that will change Aquarius's destiny in 2026, Aquarius. You need to stop running now, because what I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes will explain why you've been avoiding deep connections, why you feel different from everyone, why nothing seems to hold you for long. Someone is coming your way. And this time, it's not someone you'll manage to keep at a distance, not someone you'll be able to analyze rationally, not someone you'll fit into your vision of the future. It's someone who will force you to feel, really feel, for the first time in a long time. And no, it's not who you're thinking. It's not that mental type like you. It's not the sign everyone says is your soulmate. It's nothing safe. It's the sign the universe chose to tear down every emotional barrier you've built, to invade every space you reserved just for yourself, to force you out of your head and into your heart. Did you think 2026 would be another year of freedom, of independence, of living in your own world without interference? Forget it. 2026 doesn't want your solitary freedom. 2026 wants your real connection. And this sign that's about to enter your life will ensure you finally stop observing life from afar and start truly living it. Stay with me until the end, because what's coming isn't just about an encounter. It's about an emotional transformation so deep you'll question everything you believed about relationships, emotions, and vulnerability. And before you think about closing this video and returning to your mental distractions, know that Aquarius always runs. But this time the universe closed all exits. That feeling of emptiness you disguise with projects, that loneliness you call independence, that fear of intimacy you transform into life philosophy. It's not evolution, it's protection. And 2026 will expose it. I am the voice that translates what the stars whisper. And today, Aquarius, you'll discover who is truly destined to take you down from your observation tower and bring you to emotional reality. If you're an Aquarius or love someone of this sign, this isn't optional. It's a revelation that will change how you relate to yourself and others. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave your like now, because the next videos will complete this cosmic puzzle that begins today, and you won't want to miss a single piece. Take a deep breath, Aquarius, because now the universe will reveal what you've been avoiding feeling. 2026 arrives for Aquarius like an invasion. You who always lived in your own world, on your own frequency, completely disconnected from mundane emotions, will discover what it's like to be pulled back to earth. You'll feel changes that challenge your very identity, situations that will force you to prioritize someone beyond yourself, moments that will force you to choose between your freedom and a real connection. And you hate choices like that, because for you, freedom has always been more important than anything. Unexpected tests that will challenge your capacity for commitment, encounters that will question your distant ways, and revelations that will show you're not as emotionally evolved as you think. And it's precisely when you think you're safe in your independence that this sign appears, like an emotional tsunami you didn't see coming, like a force that doesn't respect your rational barriers. This sign doesn't play your game, Aquarius. It doesn't accept your theories about future relationships. It doesn't buy your story that deep connections are limiting. On the surface, you're completely incompatible. Everyone would say it makes no sense, that you're too different, that it will never work. But your soul already knew this encounter was necessary. And when the soul knows, Aquarius, it doesn't matter how much your mind tries to rationalize escape. It doesn't matter how many excuses you invent. It doesn't matter how many alternative plans you make. The universe placed this encounter in your timeline for a very specific reason. A reason that will become clear as we move forward. But before revealing who it is, you need to understand what's happening in the invisible backstage of your destiny. Because this time, Aquarius, running isn't an option. And that terrifies you more than anything else. Before the sign appears, 3 cosmic movements begin to manifest in Aquarius's life in 2026. The ancients called these the doors of destiny. And each one opens in a way that even you, with all your futuristic vision, can't predict. These doors don't follow logic. They don't wait for you to be mentally prepared. They simply open when the universe decides it's time for you to evolve emotionally. And Aquarius, your time has arrived. The first door has already started to open. You might not have noticed because you're too busy with your mental projects, but your soul is already feeling it. And when Aquarius's soul feels something, even if you ignore it, it's always real. Come with me and I'll reveal each of these doors. The first door that opens in 2026 is the most challenging for you. It's the door of emotional intimacy. This door touches what you avoid most, deep and true connection with another human being. In 2026, Aquarius, you'll be forced to allow someone in. Not superficially as you've always allowed, but really in. Into your world, into your space, into your mind, and especially into your heart. Those excuses you always used to keep distance won't work anymore. That facade that you're too evolved to get attached will fall. That theory that deep relationships limit your essence will be tested to the limit. People you kept at a safe distance will start demanding more. That ability you have to be present but emotionally absent will be questioned. And in its place, something new and terrifying begins to emerge. Something you've always philosophized about but never really experienced. Real vulnerability. True surrender. Emotional commitment without planned escape routes. This door brings relationships that don't accept your half-presence. Situations where you can't simply disappear when it gets too intense. Moments where you need to choose someone above your sacred freedom. And at the center of this transformation is the decisive arrival. The arrival of that sign that doesn't accept emotional crumbs, that isn't satisfied with your distant and rational version. They don't come like all the others who accepted your ways. They come as a demand that you be whole. The second door is even more intense. It's the door of pure feeling. This door is brutal for Aquarius because you live in your mind. You rationalize everything. You transform emotions into philosophical concepts. But in 2026, this door forces you to do what you fear most, feel without analyzing. Feel jealousy and not be able to rationalize it as something primitive. Feel passion and not be able to reduce it to brain chemistry. Feel longing and not be able to philosophize about emotional interdependence. Your destiny in 2026 demands you descend from your head and enter your heart. That you stop observing emotions from afar like a scientist and start living them like a human being. And know who will teach you this. The sign that's coming. They are the emotional catalyst. They are the force that tears you from your intellectual ivory tower and throws you into the beautiful chaotic mess that is truly feeling. With them, you learn that not everything can be understood, that some things can only be felt, that you can be unique and still need deep connection. Without them, you'd continue floating above human emotions. With them, you finally land. Now comes the third door, the most revolutionary of all for you. It's the door of real commitment. Aquarius, you love the idea of commitment in the future. You like to theorize about evolved partnerships. You love talking about conscious relationships. But when it's time to really commit, you disappear. You create a philosophical excuse. You choose your freedom in 2026. You won't have that option anymore. This door brings situations where you need to choose. Not between right and wrong, but between remaining alone in your independence or risking losing yourself in someone. And for you, who's always had a visceral fear of losing your individuality, this is terrifying. This door brings signs you can't ignore, no matter how much your mind tries. Absurd synchronicities that repeat. Encounters that seem scripted by the universe. Situations that force you to be emotionally present. Numbers constantly appearing related to commitment, union, partnership. Dreams where you're finally not alone. Sensations that this person who's coming will completely change your life plans. And this scares you as much as it attracts you. This door announces the approach of that sign. And when it opens completely, you understand a truth you've always denied. You're not that different. You're not from another planet. You're human, and humans need real connection, not just conceptual. And now, for the first time in your life, you'll have to accept this, not philosophically, but in practice, day to day. In real feeling, the three doors are open now. Aquarius, the door of emotional intimacy, the door of pure feeling, the door of real commitment. And they won't close until you cross through all of them, until you stop running, until you accept you need someone, until you allow someone to see you beyond your unique and revolutionary persona. Because on the other side of these doors is the sign that will turn your world upside down. And they're not coming to fit into your philosophical concept of relationship. They're coming to show you what real connection is. Now pay attention, Aquarius. Because what I'm about to reveal here might be happening to you right now, even if you're trying to rationalize it as coincidence. The sign that will change your destiny doesn't appear without warning. And you, who've always lived paying attention to patterns of the universe, should be feeling this. But this time is different. This time the signs aren't mental, they're emotional. And you don't know how to deal with emotional signs. Before this sign physically enters your life, they send energetic waves, signs that most ignore, but that are affecting you in ways you can't logically explain. And these signs follow 3 very specific phases. 3 waves that become increasingly intense until you can no longer deny something is changing. Let me show you each one. And pay attention. Because if you recognize these signs, it means they're closer than you'd like to admit. The first phase is something completely strange for you. It's the emotional restlessness. You wake up and feel an emptiness you can't fill with projects, a loneliness you can't disguise with philosophy, a longing for something you don't even know what it is. And this confuses you. Because you've always been self-sufficient. You've always been complete alone. You've always been certain you didn't need anyone deeply. But suddenly you start feeling something different. A discomfort with the very distance you maintain. A perception that maybe you're not as different and evolved as you thought. You become more sensitive than normal. And for Aquarius, who proudly lives detached from mundane emotions, this is disturbing. Small things start to move you. Scenes of connection between people touch you in unexpected ways. And you don't understand why. Aquarius, this isn't weakness. This is awakening. It's the energy of this sign beginning to affect your emotional barriers. It's as if their soul is already preparing you for the impact of the encounter, even though you haven't crossed paths yet. This restlessness doesn't pass. It only increases. It grows like a wave you can no longer avoid with mental distractions. Until you enter the second phase. The second phase is the inexplicable call, suddenly. You start noticing this sign everywhere. And yes, you'll try to rationalize this as confirmation bias, but it's more than that. People of this sign start appearing in your life, at work, in groups, on social media. In random conversations, you begin to be curious about this sign. You, who normally don't care about astrology in a traditional way, suddenly want to understand this specific sign. You dream about deep emotional connections. And in dreams, even without seeing the face clearly, you feel this sign's energy. You see videos about this sign's relational dynamics. Read texts about compatibility. Hear songs that speak exactly about what you've been avoiding feeling. As if the universe is shouting, "Pay attention, Aquarius, they're coming." And you won't be able to keep your distance this time. And the most disturbing part is you start feeling something you've always denied. Fear of being alone, not philosophically, but emotionally. Real fear of continuing to observe life instead of living it. It's as if something inside you already knows this energy will be necessary, that it will be transformative, that it will take you out of your intellectual comfort zone, and then comes the third phase, the most intense of all. The third phase is the emotional invasion. In this phase, they're so energetically close you can no longer distract yourself, can no longer escape to your projects, can no longer hide behind philosophical concepts. You start having thoughts about deep connection that you don't control. And for you, Aquarius, who always controlled how far your emotions can go, this is desperate. Thoughts coming from nowhere in the middle of your activities. Images of real intimacy. Sensations that you've finally found someone who understands you without you needing to explain. You feel an attraction that isn't just mental, and this scares you. Because you always thought mental connections were enough. As if you're pulled by a force that defies your entire philosophy of independence. As if there's an emotional magnet attracting you to something you've always avoided. And when you finally meet someone of this sign, or when this person truly enters your life, something inside you breaks, not defenses, not barriers, something deeper. The illusion that you don't need this. You simply know, can't explain it logically, can't transform it into theory. You just feel it in your soul. This is no longer a person you can keep at a distance. This is the sign. This is destiny saying, enough running, and now, Aquarius, before I reveal who this sign is, I need you to do something. If so far you've felt this video is touching on something you've been avoiding, if you've recognized these signs, if something inside you became uncomfortable while I was speaking, leave a like on this video now. Because this like isn't just a gesture. It's you acknowledging to the universe, I know I'm running. I'm ready to stop. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Because tomorrow I'll start another sign, and you'll want to follow every revelation. Also, comment below, I allow connection. It doesn't matter if part of you still resists. It doesn't matter if your rational mind is trying to deny it. If something inside you vibrated with these words, comment. Let the universe know you're opening. Now let's get to what really matters. You already know the 3 doors. You already know the 3 phases of approach. Now it's time to understand the collision that's about to happen. Because when this sign finally enters your life, Aquarius, it's not smooth. It's not intellectual. It's not something you can analyze and catalog. It's an emotional flood. It's a storm of feelings you can't control or rationalize. And when this happens, either you finally learn to feel, or you drown trying to understand. And that's exactly why the universe prepared you with these doors and these signs. Because without this preparation, without this gradual awakening, the impact would be too devastating. Even for you, who pride yourself on being different and evolved. But now you're conscious. Now you're being warned, and now you're about to discover who it is. To understand who the sign is that will change your destiny, you first need to understand something fundamental about yourself, Aquarius. You are air, but not light and playful air. You are electric wind. You are the distant storm. You are the current that passes without touching. You are innovation. You are revolution. You are the future observing the present from afar. That's your essence, and there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the problem. You've been stuck in this distance for too long. You're too comfortable in your observation tower, too secure in your emotional independence. And 2026 arrives to end this illusion of evolution through distancing. Because to transform Aquarius, the universe doesn't choose energies you can analyze, doesn't choose energies that respect your space, doesn't choose what's safe and predictable. The universe chooses your emotional complementary opposite, chooses what floods you, chooses what forces you to feel instead of think. And in 2026, 3 specific energetic forces begin to orbit around you. 3 energies that carry exactly what you need, even if it's the last thing you want to admit. The first energy is the one that forces you to dive deep. It's the energy that doesn't accept your philosophical conversations about emotions, that isn't satisfied with mental connections, that doesn't respect your theories about evolved relationships. This energy arrives and says, enough theory, enough concept, enough observation. Now you're going to feel. It challenges you to leave your head and enter your heart in a way you've never done before. Because with this energy, your analyzes don't work. Your rationalizations fail. Your distance becomes impossible. And you hate it at first. Because you're used to understanding everything, to having intellectual control over your emotions, to being able to rationally explain each feeling. But this energy removes you from that comfortable place. And this scares you as much as it fascinates you. Because deep down, Aquarius, you always wanted to find someone who made you truly feel, someone deep enough to take you from the surface, someone who would force you to be vulnerable. And this energy is exactly that. The second energy is even more intense. It's the one that reconnects you with primitive emotion. This energy touches something you buried long ago, your capacity to feel jealousy, possessiveness, intense passion, deep attachment. Aquarius, you pride yourself on not feeling these things you consider primitive. You transformed your inability for deep attachment into life philosophy. But this energy shows you you're not as evolved as you think, that there's a difference between conscious detachment and fear disguised as evolution. This energy teaches you that feeling deeply isn't weakness, that attaching isn't being limited, that allowing someone to affect you isn't losing your individuality. And yes, this is terrifying for you, Because emotional vulnerability means risk, and risk means possibility of real pain, not conceptual. But this energy shows you there's beauty in this vulnerability. There's completeness in this surrender. There's real life in this deep connection. And when you allow this energy in, you discover a version of yourself you didn't know. A more complete version, more human, more alive. And now comes the third energy, the most transformative of all. It's the energy that anchors you in present reality. Aquarius, you live in the future. You're always thinking about possibilities. You observe the present but never really are in it. You plan, you theorize, you imagine, but you rarely feel the now with total intensity. But this third energy arrives to pull you back, to force you to be present, to make you feel the moment instead of analyzing it. This isn't a mental energy. It's not philosophical. It's completely visceral and present. When this energy touches you, something changes in your perception. You finally understand that the future you plan so much never arrives if you don't live the present. It's as if you finally realize that life isn't in the next innovation, the next project, the next theory. Life is here, now, in this connection, in this feeling, in this person. And here's what you need to understand. These three energies don't come from different signs. They're not scattered around waiting for you to find them separately. They concentrate in a single sign, a sign that carries all these forces at once. Emotional depth, primitive intensity, total presence, real vulnerability. And that's why when this sign crosses your path, the impact is so devastating. Because it's not just a person entering your life. It's an emotional force colliding with everything you've built over the years to protect yourself. It's mental air meeting deep emotional water. It's distance meeting intimacy. It's future meeting intense present. And from this collision, something is born that completely transforms you. But before I reveal who it is, you need to understand an ancient prophecy. A prophecy that speaks directly about Aquarius. It says, when the water bearer finally drinks from their own water, they will discover they were always thirsty. Aquarius, you carry water for everyone. You pour your ideas, your vision, your innovation to the world. But you never drink your own water. You never allow anyone to fill you. You never acknowledge you also have emotional thirst. But in 2026, you meet someone who forces you to drink. Not because this person offers you, but because they simply are the water you've always denied needing. This person doesn't respect your emotional distance, doesn't accept your theories about independence, and isn't satisfied with your partial presence. And this completely destabilizes you. Because when someone truly sees you, beyond your unique and revolutionary persona, beyond your futuristic ideas, simply as a human being with real emotional needs, you don't know how to react. Your intellectual defenses don't work. Your rationalizations don't make sense. And you're there, exposed, vulnerable, human. And it's terrifying. But it's also liberating in a way you never imagined. This sign mentioned in the prophecy doesn't wait for you to rationally decide if you're ready for deep connection. They simply invade your emotional space. They appear in your life with an emotional intensity that absurdly contrasts with your mental distance. And in that contrast, something magical and scary happens. You realize you can be unique without being lonely, deep without being distant, free but connected. And when you realize this, Aquarius, everything changes. That future you had planned alone doesn't make sense anymore. Those concepts you had about future relationships need to be rewritten. That version of you that thought you didn't need anyone is evolving because this sign doesn't come to fit into your vision of the future. They come to show you that the emotional present is where life really happens. And now, yes, Aquarius, the time has come. After everything you've heard, after the doors, after the signs, after the energies, after the prophecy, it's time to reveal. The sign that will change Aquarius's destiny in 2026. The sign that carries all these emotional forces. The sign the universe specifically chose to take you down from your tower and bring you to real life. This sign is Cancer. The sign Aquarius avoids. The sign Aquarius considers overly emotional. The sign Aquarius never took seriously because they thought it too primitive. The sign Aquarius is about to discover carries the depth you've always pretended not to need, Cancer, yes. Aquarius, it's them. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is impossible, let me explain why it makes all cosmic sense. 2026 is the year of the encounter between the water bearer and pure emotional water. And when I say it will be intense, it's because you two are literally opposites in the zodiac. You are distant mental air. They are deep emotional water. You live in the future. They live in the emotional past and present. You despise attachment. They are the very symbol of attachment. You avoid vulnerability. They are vulnerability incarnate. You rationalize feelings. They feel without filters. But here's the secret few understand. Zodiacal opposites don't meet to fight. They meet to complete each other in ways neither could alone. And Cancer carries exactly what you need. Aquarius. Everything you suppressed. Everything you intellectualized. Everything you transformed into philosophy to avoid actually feeling. Aquarius and Cancer carry a dynamic of complementary opposites. The most challenging in the zodiac, but also the most transformative when it truly happens. Whenever these two souls truly cross paths, something rare happens. Aquarius learns to feel, and Cancer learns to free. And 2026 creates a unique astrological configuration. A configuration that favors exactly this seemingly impossible encounter. Aquarius's mind aligns with Cancer's heart. And this means one very clear thing. Cancer appears to show you there's life beyond theory. Cancer doesn't arrive by chance. They arrive because you're disconnected. Disconnected from your own emotions. Disconnected from your humanity. Disconnected from the real experience of being emotionally alive. And they come to reconnect you, whether you rationally accept it or not. Now you must be wondering, but why Cancer? Why precisely the most emotional and sensitive sign of the zodiac? Because Aquarius governs the mind, innovation, the future, the collective. And Cancer governs exactly the complement of that. Cancer governs the heart, emotional nourishment, the present, the intimate, the emotional family, vulnerability without defenses. When these two energies truly collide, three inevitable things happen. First, Aquarius learns that feeling isn't weakness. That idea that deep emotions are primitive crumbles. Cancer teaches you there's wisdom in feeling, not just in thinking. Second, Cancer awakens in Aquarius the need for belonging. You discover you can be unique and still need an emotional place to call home. That independence doesn't mean loneliness. Third, both enter a process of mutual healing. It's not just Aquarius that changes. Cancer does too. Because this connection adds freedom to their emotional security and emotional security to your freedom. And this doesn't matter if the encounter is romantic, familial, or a deep friendship. The impact is the same, transformative. Healing, humanizing, Aquarius. You begin 2026 feeling that emotional restlessness I mentioned before. As if something is missing. As if all your philosophy of independence is just protection disguised as evolution. This isn't in your head. It's Cancer approaching. And the effect begins even before you meet physically. Their energy already starts softening your defenses. You begin to feel more sensitive to emotional situations. Start questioning if you're really so evolved for not attaching. Feel an inexplicable desire to create emotional roots in something or someone. And this scares you. Because Aquarius loves freedom and emotional roots seem like prison. Cancer doesn't arrive to trap you, Aquarius. They arrive to show you that you can have roots and still fly. That you can have an emotional home without losing your individuality. That you can be vulnerable without being weak. But the process goes against every belief you have. Because Cancer feels everything you avoid feeling. When Cancer enters Aquarius's life, they function as an emotional mirror. They show what you hid from yourself for fear of seeming common, the need for care you suppressed, the affective neediness you disguised as independence, the fear of abandonment you transformed into philosophy of detachment, the loneliness you never admitted feeling. Cancer's energy forces you to recognize you also have a heart, that you also need real intimacy, that you also want to be seen beyond your brilliant ideas. And this creates the first major impact of the year. Aquarius allows themselves to be human. It's the beginning of reconnection, and it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Now comes the deepest part. The impossible magnetism. What attracts Aquarius and Cancer should never work logically, should never make sense. They're two completely different worlds. It's energetic. It's alchemical. It's cosmic. It's a magnetism that defies all rational explanation. Mind and heart, future and present, detachment and attachment. You look at Cancer and feel something that completely confuses you. It's not just attraction, though that exists. It's something bigger and scarier. It's as if their soul carries the emotional home you never allowed yourself to have. As if they have the key to a part of you that always denied existing. And when this magnetism emerges in 2026, it comes with a very clear purpose: to humanize Aquarius, to teach that emotions aren't enemies of reason, to show you can be deeply connected and still free. This encounter brings warmth to your mental coldness, brings presence to your living in the future, brings vulnerability to your intellectual armor, brings home to your eternal feeling of being a stranger. But it also brings challenges, because Cancer feels too much and you feel too little. Cancer needs constant presence and you need space. Cancer attaches and you free yourself. It's a meeting of extremes, and either you find balance or you destroy each other trying. Aquarius, 2026 marks the year you enter a portal of emotional reconnection, a passage to a more complete version of yourself. And Cancer is the guide of this portal. They open the door with real tears, not philosophy about emotions, with hugs that melt defenses, not theories about connection. If you stay trapped in rationalization, trying to understand instead of feel, you suffer. If you allow yourself to dive into the emotional experience, you finally complete yourself. This is the big choice of the year. This is the decision the universe puts before you. And here's a revelation few know. Aquarius and Cancer have a connection called axis of belonging. It's not an easy connection. It's an opposition that either completes or shatters, like water melting ice, transforming it into its true nature. This connection is uncomfortable and healing at the same time. It makes you fear losing your individuality, but at the same time a deep desire to finally belong to something real. You fear Cancer will emotionally trap you, but at the same time feel this is exactly the emotional anchor you've always denied needing. This relationship, even if brief, changes Aquarius's life philosophy forever. And in 2026, this complementary opposite manifests. They arrive and they transform everything. Cancer teaches Aquarius lessons no one else could teach. And here are the teachings you absorb during this year. Vulnerability. Cancer shows you that being vulnerable isn't being weak. It's being brave enough to be true. Presence. Cancer teaches you that the emotional present is where real life happens, not in the theoretical future you plan so much. Belonging. Cancer reconnects you with the human need to have an emotional home, to belong to someone without losing yourself. Emotional nourishment. Cancer shows you everyone needs to be cared for and to care. That this isn't dependence. It's humanity. Depth. Cancer takes you to emotional waters you've always observed from afar but never dove into. Transformation happens again. But this time not through the mental innovation you know so well. This time through emotional reconnection, through healing of the heart, through rebirth, through feeling. But attention, Aquarius. And this is crucial you understand. Not every Cancer stays. Cancer appears to reconnect you with your humanity. But this doesn't mean they'll stay forever holding you. In fact, often Cancer enters your life for a temporary purpose but eternal in impact. The purpose is to show you that you also have a heart. And once you learn to feel it, they can move on. Sometimes Cancer stays, sometimes they leave. But always, always, they leave you more whole than you were before. And when Aquarius crosses through 2026 after this encounter, they're not the same anymore. Life changes in three main areas. Connection. Aquarius develops the ability to connect deeply without losing their unique essence. Emotion. Aquarius learns to feel fully without fear of being consumed by. Emotions. Humanity. Aquarius discovers they can be revolutionary and human at the same time, that innovation and emotion can coexist. Cancer doesn't come to limit your freedom. Aquarius. They come to show you that freedom without emotional connection isn't freedom. It's disguised loneliness. And now, Aquarius, We've reached the end of this revelation. But this isn't an ending, it's an awakening. 2026 won't be an easy year for you, but it will be the year you finally allow yourself to be human while maintaining your uniqueness. The year you discover that feeling isn't weakness, it's courage. If this video touched something you've been avoiding, if you recognize these patterns, if something in your soul became uncomfortable with these words, I need you to do something now. Comment below. I allow myself to feel. This comment isn't just for me. It's for the universe. It's you saying you're ready to descend from the tower and live emotionally. And if you want me to make the video about which sign will change the destiny of Pisces, Virgo, Taurus, Leo, or any other sign in 2026, comment also which one you want to see. Leave your like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications, because this journey of reconnection is just beginning. And always remember, Aquarius, the true revolution isn't in avoiding emotions. It's in having the courage to feel them completely. And Cancer was sent to remind you of that.